the first topic of the day, we're talking about how people who go to bed at this certain time will have the capacity to work out longer than those who do not go to bed at this particular time. Let's check out this article from the New York Post. It says here that people who go to bed at this time get the most exercise. It's not about how much they sleep, but when. All right, let's check this out. The early bird gets the workout. It's bad enough that night owls are more at risk for dementia, depression, and diabetes. Now, a new study published in the Journal of Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences suggests that they can also forget about that sunrise jog they keep promising to take. Researchers assessed the sleep habits and exercise levels of almost 20,000 people who wore the health and fitness tracker Whoop for 1 year, taking into account how long they slept and when they went to bed. Where is Oh, here we go. People who went to bed around 9 p.m. did about 30 minutes more of moderate to vigorous physical activity the following day than those who hit the hay at 1 a.m. The early birds pumped out 15 more workout minutes compared to those who tucked in at 11 p.m. The average bedtime for participants, even when the total sleep duration was the same. Why? Experts believe societal norms can put night owls at a disadvantage when it comes to mental and it turns out physical health. Uh, I mean, of course. And here's the thing too. Um, do I believe that people that go to bed at a certain time, let's say like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, do they have an advantage over people that go to bed at let's say 2, 3 a.m. when it comes to health and fitness or just overall health benefits? I believe so. Um, just because I believe our bodies were meant to go to bed and wake up at a certain time. I just think that this is how we've been trained since we were kids, from going to school, coming home, doing your homework, whatever. You're in bed by 9 o'clock. And we've developed that habit throughout our adult years, right? From high school, college, working adults. Our bodies is just trained to go to bed at a certain time, wake up at a certain time. So do I believe that people that go to bed earlier will have more an advantage than people that go to bed at a later time? I believe so. I definitely do. Just because our bodies are, just like I said, have been programmed a certain way. Our bodies have been programmed to early bird gets the worm. So now that's not to say that just because you go to bed late that you won't be able to stay fit. I know plenty of people that have been able to, including myself. I used to be a bouncer at a bar, a few bars. So I go to bed at like 2 a.m., 2, 3 a.m. I wouldn't get home to like 2:30, 3 o'clock. And I still be up training the next day at like 8 o'clock. So um it just depends on the person. But if we're talking overall, then yes. Obviously the person that goes to bed at a decent time, wakes up at a decent time, is gonna be able to have more energy to work out longer. Because the only thing that separates early risers from those that go to bed later is that what goes on for the people that go to bed late before they sleep is that a lot of times when you're up that late, usually you're doing things that do not align with health and fitness. So if you're someone that is used to going to bed at 2, 3 o'clock, then you're probably going to be used to, eating late as far as just like bad stuff, right? Eating late won't make you fat, obviously, but just eating the wrong foods before bed, drug use, you have a higher chance of using drugs at that time. uh just higher chance of doing things that are destructive to your body overall. So um yeah, people in the nightlife have a hard time with trying to stay fit, and being able to be healthy because of that strenuous activity that goes on in nightlife. Alcohol is involved, drugs are involved, just constant lack of sleep, junk food is involved. So a lot of times those people in that industry are not the healthiest, you know. So definitely agree with this article. If you guys are late risers or late sleepers, if you don't need to be, I would suggest that you guys try to go to bed earlier. Only because it's not the fact that you're going to bed late, is that going to bed late increases your chances of, not only you doing drugs and alcohol and just eating bad food, but also, just like they mentioned in that article, dementia, depression, anxiety, just things like that. Most of the times, people that are up late, they're just on social media doom scrolling, you know, and that's not really healthy if you're doing that for hours on end and then going to bed. Even going to bed before going to bed, and right before you go to bed, you're on your phone just doom scrolling. That's going to affect your sleep, and when your sleep is affected, then you have a high likelihood of not being able to recover, especially if you're training. You have a high likelihood of having low energy the next day. So, my suggestion is that you guys have to stop doom scrolling before bed. At least an hour before bed, there should be no screen time, especially if your plan is to wake up early and go train. You're not going to have the energy to go train if you're up all night just swiping on social media, um, looking at videos. Like, you have to give your body a rest from social media, from screen time, because you're already on it enough throughout the day. The last thing you need is to be on it right before bed. So that's my suggestion, man. If you can avoid being up late, try to go to bed earlier. There's no reason why you need to be up until 2 a.m. You know, unless if you're not working in nightlife, if you're not in a job that requires you to be up until that late, you should not be up that late anyway. There's no point, there's no purpose. So that's my suggestion. All right, let's go to the next one.